Morning, Your Honor. This is Peresno Leon, certified Spanish interpreter. I have been previously sworn.
Good morning, thank you. The defendant has the headsets on. If you can make contact, please.
Sí.
The interpreter can confirm there is connection with the headsets, Your Honor.
All right, please state your name, sir.
José Luis Farías.
Jose Luis Farias.
Mr. Farias, you've been charged with battery, domestic violence. You filled out an affidavit to obtain the public defender, but I just had a question. You didn't put any income. Do you currently have any income? Do you work?
No, ahorita no.
No, not currently.
None. All right. You do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with battery, domestic violence. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,500. I'm going to require that you have no contact with the victim, that you maintain a separate residence. If there is a shared residence, you may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. I'm going to require that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. All right, we're going to have you sign a no contact order, and then you can remove the headsets and follow the officer out the blue door.
Your Honor, my apologies. How much? What was the bond amount?
$1,500.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And the case number is 2023 MM 730AW.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And before I excuse you, will you please ask if any of the victims require an interpreter before I let you go?
¿Alguna de las víctimas necesita los servicios del intérprete en español? Por favor, levante la mano derecha.
All right, no one indicated. That's all we had. Thank you.
At your service, Your Honor. Have a wonderful morning.
You too. Bye. All right, sir. And we need Maldonado. Yeah. Do they both qualify? All right, Mr. Maldonado and Mr. Martin,
Yes, ma'am.
you've both been charged with battery, domestic violence, and you each qualify for a public defender. So I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. They'll withdraw from one of them, and it'll be Office of Regional Conflict Counsel. But for purposes of this morning, you'll both have the public defender. Now, I reviewed the affidavit and there is probable cause, but I asked you both to come here right now for the IA because I have to ask if you want to have contact with each other while the case is pending. Mr. Maldonado, do you want to have contact with Mr. Martin while the case is pending?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Martin, do you want to have contact with Mr. Maldonado while the case is pending?
Of course, that's my brother.
All right, are either of you in fear of the other one?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, and if something like this were to happen again, which I hope it won't, would both of you have called 911 if anything like this ever happened again?
No, ma'am.
No, you won't.
No,
Yes, ma'am. It wouldn't get to that point.
When I
Okay.
get to a point, this is the first.
Yeah, so Ms. George is telling you not to talk about the facts of the case because you might inadvertently say something and you admit an element of the crime and you're not required to give any evidence against yourself. All right, you both qualify for pretrial release. Pretrial release is a program that's run by the Department of Corrections. It allows you to be released from custody without posting a monetary bond. You do have to comply with all of the requirements of PTR, including meeting with an officer on a regular basis in person. Mr. Martin, did you want to participate in the PTR program? You don't know? All right, Ms. George, yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, and we asked Mr. Maldonado. Martin said yes. All right, so I'll release you both under the PTR, and the conditions of your release are that you can't have any hostile contact with each other. I know it's a stressful time. I know you're looking for a relative that's missing, and I know you're under a lot of stress. So you just can't have any hostile contact with each other, and no weapons or firearms, either one of you, and comply with PTR.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right, just follow the officer out the blue door, please. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, good morning, Mr. Cherama. Yesterday, we appointed the public defender to represent you, and we had, the state was given 24 hours to provide a supplemental affidavit, and they've done so. And based on the supplemental affidavit, I do find probable cause, and I will stay the bonds. Oh, go ahead, Ms. George has something. All right, so do you want to do 10,000 on count one? And then on count two, the 250? State, would you have any objection to that?
No, Judge.
All right, so I'll order the 10,000 on count one, 250 on count two. The conditions are that you cannot possess any weapons or firearms. If you still have any in your possession, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff within 4 hours of release from incarceration. And I'm also going to order no contact with the co-defendants.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Juan Moore.
Mr. Moore. Oh, I got more next, Dewan Moore. Oh, are we here on the DV or just the fugitive warrant? All right, so, Mr. Moore, this is an arrest warrant out of Ohio. And so, you'll be visited by our fugitive warrant team tomorrow, and they'll talk to you about extradition.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Please tell me your name.
Michael Shane Carter.
All right, Mr. Carter, you do qualify for a public defender. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with aggravated stalking after an injunction. I have reviewed the arrest affidavit, and I do find probable cause. I am going to set bond in the amount of $5,000 and reiterate all of the conditions of the prior release, the no contact, no weapons, no firearms, separate residence. And on your case that you're out on bond, 2023 CF 10828 AO, I'm going to revoke that and set bond at none. You bonded out on 8/14 after the judge on that date told you to have no contact with the alleged victim, either directly or through third parties. Then on 8/15, the next day, you allegedly attempted to contact the victim. So I am going to revoke your out on bond and set it at none. Please follow the officer out the blue door. Please tell me your name. Mr. Fish, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with battery by strangulation, domestic violence, and battery domestic violence. I reviewed the arrest affidavit, and I do find probable cause. You do qualify for pretrial release. Do you want to speak to him for a moment about that, Ms. George?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to allow you to be released under the pretrial release program. And the conditions of the release are that you are to have no contact with the alleged victim. You must maintain a separate residence. If you do reside together, you may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. I'm going to order that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. After you sign the no contact order, please follow the officer out the blue door. Please step forward and tell me your name.
William Gibson.
Mr. Gibson, you did not complete the form. Did you want to find out if you qualify for a public defender?
No, ma'am, I have a private attorney.
All right. You've been charged with criminal mischief, grand theft, third degree, and battery, dating, violence. Were you expecting your attorney to show up this morning? Did you want to wait for him?
No, ma'am, he's in Tallahassee.
Okay. All right. So you do qualify for pretrial. Well, I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I do find probable cause. You do qualify for pretrial release. This is a program that's run by the Department of Corrections. It allows you to be released from incarceration without posting a monetary bond. You do have to comply with all of the conditions of PTR, which includes meeting with an officer on a regular basis in person. Did you want to participate in that program?
Yes, ma'am. Is the officer that I have to meet with in Orange County or?
Yes, it'll be in Orange County. Do you reside in Tallahassee?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'll allow you, while the case is pending, I'll allow you to leave the jurisdiction, travel to Tallahassee. And when you meet with the pretrial release, they'll explain to you how it works if you're not here in Orange County. And the conditions of the release are that you have no contact with the alleged victim, that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must, if they're in your residence in Tallahassee, you must turn them in to the Leon County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of your return to Tallahassee. If you have any here in Orange, you have to turn them in within 4 hours of your release from incarceration. I'm going to require that you maintain a separate residence. If you do share a residence with the victim, you may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. State, anything else?
No, Judge.
He said no return as well.
No return?
Yes, they got no return on the warrant.
I think the separate residence.
So you want me to remove that no return?
Yeah, I don't think that applies. All right, please follow the officer out the blue door. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
May I please have your name, sir?
Andre Hadley.
No, he do not.
All right, Mr. Hadley, you do not qualify for a public defender. You've been charged with robbery, sudden snatching, and battery, dating violence. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of, on count 1, robbery, sudden snatching, $250, and count 2, battery, dating violence, $2,500. I'm going to require that you have no contact with the alleged victim, that you maintain a separate residence. If you have a shared residence, you may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. I'm going to require that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. All right, after you sign the no contact order, please follow the officer out the blue door. I'm going to revoke the bond and set it none, so do you want to reset them?
We just resetting everything.
Yeah, reset.
Your Honor, will you do that when they're on the reset, or is it revoked now?
No, I'll do it on the reset. That, I just let Miss George know because sometimes she waves, but whenever I'm going to do it none,
Thank you.
I need to tell them face to face. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Gary Edward Driggers.
Driggers.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Driggers, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with battery, domestic violence. I did review the arrest affidavit and I find probable cause. You do qualify for pretrial release. Would you like to participate in that program?
Yes.
All right, I'll release you under PTR. I'm gonna require that you have no contact with your son, with the alleged victim while the case is pending. I'm gonna require that you maintain a separate residence. If you do have a shared residence, you may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. I'm gonna require that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration.
And Your Honor, DCF was also contacted.
And that you comply with any requirements of the Department of Children and Family Services. All right, sir, please follow the officer out the blue door.
Stacy, defense away.
All right, I'll appoint for Ms. Niles, I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender. I'll find probable cause. I'll set bond in the amount of $1,500. The conditions are comply with DCF requirements, no contact, separate residence, no weapons, no firearms, one-time return. Please step forward and tell me your name. All right, Ms. Petrowski, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with battery, domestic violence. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. There is probable cause. I'm gonna set bond in the amount of 1,000, yes.
She qualifies for PTR, Your Honor.
Okay, so you do qualify for PTR. Would you like to participate in that program?
I'm sorry, what is PTR?
Yeah, just- All right, I'll order pretrial release. I'm gonna order no contact with the alleged victim. You must maintain a separate residence. If you still share a residence with your husband, you may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. I'm gonna order that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. Please, after you sign the no contact order, please follow the officer out the blue door.
Thank you.
Please tell me your name.
Christopher Reed.
Mr. Reed, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with battery, domestic violence. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna set bond in the amount of $1,500. I'm gonna order that you comply with any requirements of DCF, that you have no contact with the alleged victim, that you maintain a separate residence. If there is a shared residence, you may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. I'm going to order that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. Please follow the officer out the blue door. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Victoria Tig. Yes.
Ms. Tig, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with battery, dating violence, and criminal mischief. You do qualify for pretrial release. Would you like to participate in that program?
I don't even know what it is, really.
All right, Ms. George will speak to you for a minute about it. On count one, it'd be 1,500, count two, 150. All right, I'll order a pretrial release. The conditions of your release are that you must comply with any requirements of DCF.
No,
Hey.
I'm sorry, ma'am, because I don't want to be, be involved with DCF, so
Well, you are involved because your children were in the car, so
my kid,
if DCF is involved, you must require, the conditions of release are that you have to comply with any requirements of the Department of Children and Family Services. I'm also ordering that you have no contact with the victim. You must maintain a separate residence. If you do have a shared residence, you may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. I'm going to order that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. After you sign the no contact order, you may follow the officer out the blue door.
okay, ma'am, my kids wasn't,
I have Thomas Betancourt Garcia.
He was transported to Osceola.
Thank you. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Timothy Johnson.
I had Jose Callis Macho. Did Osceola pick him up too? Oh, he bonded, okay. And you're Timothy Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Johnson, this is a warrant from Seminole County. The judge in that case has set bond at none. We'll notify Seminole County that you're here, and they'll have 24 hours to pick you up.
Okay.
Yes.
Your Honor, on Bentoncourt, he has a first appearance detainer.
He, TOT,
It's still open.
it's Osceola case. But he TOT.
He's in IA hold 11 right now, but that case is still open. Are we gonna address that case? Because he's gonna be held on that case with that detainer open until, they won't remove it until the judge removes it. So he's not going to Osceola until he's addressed at that open detainer.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what
Not on
case.
bond.
I don't have
Bentoncourt
them.
has an open FAD, and he won't be open.
Well, that's out of Osceola County, right?
But they still got a hold on him here.
Yeah, there's a hold here. We can, if there's no action, we can remove it. He can go to Osceola, but if there is action, then
Yeah, I'll take no action on the Osceola case. Osceola County can
it'll
address
be
it.
open till he sees.
Yeah, they can address it there.
Jeffrey, I needed to send them down, something downstairs.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm gonna this no contact order here. I mean, this order revoked, I'm gonna put through it, no action. Cause, I can't do an IA order. See what I'm saying, to
Yes.
send downstairs.
Okay.
Cause he's not up here, he's TOT. Okay, so I'm putting no action.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
Upstairs.
they can address it there.
Yeah.
All right, sir, please tell me your name.
Nadine Lopez.
Mr. Lopez, this is a warrant out of Volusia County, and the judge did give you a bond of $100. All right, so we'll notify Volusia County that you're here, and they'll have 72 hours to pick you up if you're unable to bond out.
All right, there. I've already bonded. They already came and paid.
Missing Timothy Johnson.
Okay, I'm not sure why you're here then. All right, they'll get it straightened out. If the bond, it probably just got posted in the middle of you coming here, but I'm sure it'll get worked out.
Okay, thank you.
Can you tell me what happened to Timothy Johnson?
We just addressed him.
You did, okay.
He was the Seminole County nun. All right, please step forward and tell me your name.
Jockey Richardson.
All right, Mr. Richardson, so this is an on-view violation of probation. You're on probation in Lee County, so it'll be none, and we'll notify Lee County that you're here, and they'll have 72 hours to pick you up.
So I don't have no bond.
No, sir, not on a violation of probation.
So I'm going back to Lee County?
Yes, sir.
Ah.
Please step forward and tell me your name.
Lamont Cleus.
All right, Mr. Cleus, I see that the public defender has already been assigned to your felony case, and we'll appoint them for the violation of probation. And so the judge in that case did put the bond in the amount of none, and you are scheduled for an in-jail arraignment tomorrow on the VOP. And then you have a new law violation, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. I'll find probable cause, I'll stay the bond at 500. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Juan Disqua.
Mr. Disqua, this is a violation of probation. The judge in your case has set bond in the amount of none, and you're scheduled for an in-jail arraignment tomorrow on 10/12. Did you want to see if you qualify for the public defender for the VOP?
He did. He filled out
Oh, he
the
did?
paper.
Okay. You do qualify for the public defender, so we'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you in the violation of probation proceeding.
ma'am.
Please follow the officer out the blue door. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Earl Gaines.
All right, Mr. Gaines, you qualify for a public defender, so we'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you in your violation of probation. The judge in the underlying case signed the warrant and put bond in the amount of none, and you're scheduled for an arraignment tomorrow on 10/12.
Your Honor, he has reporting instructions for the HRS, so.
Okay, so you have to comply with any of the reporting requirements. I'm sure at your arraignment tomorrow, they'll go over that in greater detail. Please tell me your name, sir.
Brian Kemp.
All right, Mr. Kemp, you do qualify for a public defender, so we'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you in your violation of probation proceeding. The judge in the underlying case set bond in the amount of none, and you are scheduled for an arraignment tomorrow on 10/12.
Well,
Please step forward and tell me your name.
Jose Ortiz Concepcion.
All right, Mr. Ortiz, you did not fill out the form. Did you want to see if you qualify for a public defender for the VOP, or did you have a private attorney?
Oh, Your Honor, I have a private attorney.
Okay, all right, so the judge in your case has set bond in the amount of none, and you are scheduled for in-jail arraignment tomorrow on 10/12. Please step forward and tell me your name, sir.
Yacel Ruiz Fleites, ma'am.
Yes.
Mr. Ruiz, you do qualify for a public defender. We'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you in the violation of probation proceeding. The judge in the case did set bond in the amount of none, and you are scheduled for in-jail arraignment tomorrow on 10/12.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. All right, please step forward and tell me your name.
Ready, my lord.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Ready, my lord.
All right, Mr. Millard, I see that Mr. Ladon has already entered a denial of the violation of probation and an appearance, but he didn't waive the arraignment. So it's actually scheduled for arraignment, I think tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? When's the arraignment? It's coming up. And since he already entered a denial, scheduled for tomorrow?
See, yeah, I see the, the denial,
Mm-hmm, yeah, he did the appearance.
motion, squash. Oh, he's, and appearance, okay.
Yeah,
So we can just go ahead and give him an arraignment.
Well, he didn't waive arraignment, though.
Oh, okay.
But so, it's set for 10/16. So it's set for 10/16 for the in-jail arraignment. So I'm not sure, I don't know, since he did a denial, but he didn't waive arraignment, I guess we still have to have the arraignment. So we'll get it set on 10/16. All right, please follow the officer out the blue door. All right, we'll do the 33-day motions. Ashley Christina Johnson.
23 CF 11873, granted. Notice of non-filing.
Sharika Lewis.
23 CF 7330, granted. notice and on filing.
Inestro Rodrigo Munoz Romero.
23 CF 12009, granted, notice and on filing.
Christopher Allen Pyfley.
23 CF 11788, granted, notice and on filing.
Raymond Dean Sanchez Fulbrick.
Denied, bond was revoked. PD needs to file a bond motion.
Elizabeth Ann Lowry.
Is it the 12017?
Yes, 17.
23 CF 12017, granted, notice and on filing.
Same defendant ending in 11833.
Denied, and information was filed.
Alexis Mariah Beasley.
23 CF 11674, granted, no billed.
All right, we're off the record.